Hello everyone, my name is Ronak and you are watching Vector Art. So in today's video, we will create this beautiful looking pop-up information user control using WPF. So without any further ado, let's get started. So we should start by opening Blend for Visual Studio 2022 and create a new project. Let's select WPF app with .NET framework. If you do not see it in your recent templates, you can always browse and find the template here. So I will select WPF app with .NET framework and click on next. Let's give this project a name. You can also find the source code for this complete user control in the description. You can download it from my GitHub repository. So moving ahead, let's click on create. And the first thing that we have to do is we'll go to our solution explorer and right click on the project and click on add and add a user control. Let's give this user control a name. I will rename it as UC slide and click on add. Now we have our user control loaded. So first things first, let's change the width and height of this user control. I will start with say 300 and width as to 300. Let me change the height to 200. I think that would be more than enough. Okay, so I have the width and height set. So let's start by designing our user control. So let me minimize this XAML part and bring this user control to the working area. Okay, so first we will start with adding a path. So let's select the path icon or path tool and start drawing a path. So let's click some anchor points on the canvas and I will try to create a rectangle here. Ensure holding on to the shift key while adding these anchor points to get straight lines. So I have holding on to the shift key to get these lines. Now I'm using the direct selection tool to skew the rectangle to get this desired shape. So I have this ready. Now I'll use the direct selection tool again to adjust the anchor points to my desired height and width. Okay, so my path or the shape is ready. The custom shape is ready. Let me select this, go to its properties and remove the stroke and then fill it with a color red. I'll go with red. Orange is red. And next let's add a button on the left top corner. So this button will minimize this shape when we start the animation. So let me add this button here and let's go to the properties of this button, and first things first, let's remove the background. Let's remove the border brush and also let's remove the content and fill this button with a image or an icon. So these icons are downloaded from icons8.com. You can find the link in the description. So moving ahead, actually I have changed the border brush image, so let me remove it and go back to the background and change the image source here. So I have this back button which will minimize my animation when I click on it. So next I will add some visual elements. You can add your own elements here. The purpose of this video is to show a user control that will animate on click of a button and maximize on click of the next button. So these are some visual elements that I am trying to achieve here. So let me give this a name or basically a title using the text block element, and also change the font properties here. Next I will make a copy of this same text block using by holding the alt key and dragging the control. You can also copy and paste, it's up to you. So I will change this text to marker and change the font properties to remove the bold font weight. So next I have my title ready. Next I want some subtext. So here I will make use of the same text block that I had on top and add some text here. I cannot see the text because the text is in white foreground, so I will have to make changes to the properties to see the text. So let me go to the properties here because it is making difficult to edit. So let's select this first, yeah, and go to properties, change the foreground to black, and now we can make changes to our text, and then finally I will change it to white. Okay, so this is my subtext, and I shouldn't have done that. I just have to select the text block and go to properties and foreground to white. So that is done. I see, like I think we'll have to decrease the size of our path that we drew. So let's do one thing. Let's change the width and height of this path that we drew. So let's just use the anchor points and decrease the size. I think this size is perfect, I believe. Yes. So let me move around some of the controls that I added on the UI. Let me select both the text blocks and add it on the path. Now next we will add a rectangle on the left hand side. This will act as a ruler. Again, a design element, does not serve any purpose here. So let me position it and let's go to properties, remove the stroke and change the fill to a dark shade of gray. Okay, so that is done. Now let's add some more buttons. So let's say we'll copy the same button that we have on top and paste it and go to properties and browse the icons that I've downloaded from icons8.com and copy it 2 more times to have the settings and help icon. Okay, one more time, then this will be the help icon. So that's it. The icon size are a bit bigger, so I will go and change the properties. The width and height I will change it to 21 points. The same for the other two icons as well. And next I will draw one more path that will serve 2 more buttons. So let me do one thing. Instead of drawing a path, I will let me draw a path. So I will use this path tool and draw a skewed rectangle. I'm speeding up a process here because I am using this direct selection tool to adjust the anchor points to my desired shape. So please bear with me. Okay, so my skewed rectangle is almost ready. Let me remove the stroke, and on top of this skewed rectangle I want one more skewed rectangle. So let me copy the same and paste it, and I will do the same adjustments to this second skewed rectangle using the direct selection tool and make changes to its anchor points. So let me do that quickly, and once that is ready, okay, yeah, it's almost ready. Now next we will change the color of this second skewed rectangle. Again, a design element, nothing that will help in achieving the animation. So it's up to you how you design this window. So I have this just to separate the icons on the icons or the buttons on top and the bottom. So I will add buttons on this elements now. So let me copy the button, or let me draw a button here, and let me copy it better. I think that will be much better, otherwise I will have to again set all the properties. So I have to just change the icon here and increase the size. Okay, so I have my icon ready. Okay, so I need one more icon on the bottom. So I'll just copy and paste it, and this will be the edit icon. So let's just browse the icons that I've downloaded and paste it. So doing this, my UI is almost ready. There are some changes that I have to make. So before that, what I will do is I will group all the elements that I've added on the grid except the path that I drew, the that is the which is having the color red. Except that, rest all elements I will select and I will group it into a grid, and give this grid a name. Okay, so now next, I will just go to the properties and hide this grid and change the visibility to hidden, because I need to add some more elements and I do not want to complicate or confuse you with these two elements. So I have just grouped them and made them hidden. Now I am going to add two more elements on the grid. So this is the minimized state of the animation. So the one that you saw, all the elements that are inside the content group or the grid are the maximized state, and this is the minimized state. So I am adding the elements now, but the path icon that is there, that will be the common element for both maximized and minimized state. So I have added this element similar to the element in the content. There was a big rectangle, so it's the same. So now I'll add a button here, which will on click of this button, it will maximize the animation. So I have again selected an icon from icons 8. I will change the properties that I did for the other buttons inside the content, and this time I have changed the background to white, and now I will add the image inside this button by changing its template. So right click, edit a template, edit a copy, and inside this template I have removed the content presenter, and instead I have added an image inside the border. So, and this image will have the icon that I downloaded from icons 8. So in this way I have added a background to the button as white, and also inside the button I have removed the content presenter, and instead of this content presenter I have added an image. So this way I did not have to just include an image. You could have also taken an image with a white background and a T on top. So this is just one more way of doing it. So I am now changing the size of the path, the main path element that we had, to say, I think it should be somewhere around 35 points. I think 35 would be good. Okay, so, and let's move these two elements inside this path. So this is our minimized state, and our maximized state would be width of 230, height of 130, and the content grid or group visible, and the other two elements that I added should be hidden. So that is the maximized state. So let me group these two as well into a grid and rename it as minimized, and the contents to be as maximized. So these are the two groups that I have to animate now. So the starting point would be that the second minimize is hidden, visible, and the maximize is hidden. And also this path should be 35 and 20, 35 into 20. So this is our starting point. So let's add a storyboard and start animating. So the storyboard I have added is storyboard 1, and the first keyframe would be an empty keyframe for all the elements. So I'm just adding an empty keyframe for all the 3 elements. Now on the first keyframe or the 0.5 keyframe, I will change the path width and height to 230 and 130 respectively. So this has been maximized. Now I have to hide the minimize elements. So this will be hidden, and the maximize should be visible on the 0.5 keyframe. So if you run this, you will see this animation. So this is our first storyboard. So now we have to design or animate our second storyboard. To do that, let's close this storyboard and go to our path first and change it to the maximize state, so that when we click on the minimize button, it should go back to the minimize state. So we have to start from where the first storyboard ended. So this is the end of the first storyboard. So now we have to add a storyboard. This is storyboard 2, and on click of the minimize button, we have to minimize all of these elements. So I have added again a empty keyframe for all the 3 to record the initial state, and on the 0.1 keyframe the maximize should be hidden. The path should on the 0.5 keyframe should reduce to the original size, that is 35 into 20, and the minimize should be visible. And when you run this, it will minimize. So now we have one storyboard 1 that will maximize and storyboard 2 that will minimize. So you have to remember this, because I am going to add triggers next. So to add triggers, I have to go to the XAML of the user control, minimize this resources section, and between the resources and the grid, I have to add triggers. So user control dot triggers, and inside these triggers, I have to add an event trigger, and next would be the routed event attribute, and this should be button base dot click. Next, the routed event will be triggered using the source name or the button that will trigger this event. So the source name, I have not renamed the buttons that I want to trigger these actions. So let me go back to the UI, and inside the maximize group, I have the minimize button. So I have to rename this as button minimize. So on click of button minimize, this maximize will hide and the minimize elements will be visible. And inside our minimize group, we have the maximize button. So let me rename this to button maximize. So on click of this, our UI elements will maximize. So I've done the naming. So let's go back to the event trigger, and inside the source name, I will add the button maximize, the button maximize source name, and this should trigger the storyboard 1. So the storyboard 1 is for maximize, and the storyboard 2 is to minimize. So let me add an element begin storyboard and give the storyboard property a static resource that we created, that is storyboard 1. And let's close this. So you have to do the same event trigger but with a different source button name. So let me copy this and paste it one more time, and this time the button source name will be button minimize, and this will trigger the storyboard too. And that's all about it. So our user control is ready. Make sure you build it. And now we will go back to our main window where we will use this user control. So to do that, let's go to our main window, and inside our main window, inside our grid, we will add this local user control slide, and let's give this user control the same width and height that our user control has, that is 200 and 300 respectively. So let's add the height and width and close this user control. Also may ensure that we have the local namespace available, so otherwise you will have errors. Now we will build this so that we get rid of all the errors. And now if you run the application, you will see that our user control will be loaded at runtime. So if you click on the minimize, you will see that it minimizes, and when you click on the maximize, it maximizes. So you can use this as an information user control, where websites, or not websites, but applications have some user help or user information that can be animated in such a way. So next I will add this stack panel here, so that I can stack multiple user controls next to, or on stack multiple user controls literally. So let me copy this and paste it multiple times. And let's copy it one more time. And also I will reduce the size of this stack panel. Yes. So that's it, guys. Hope you all liked watching this video. If you do, please do subscribe to my channel. It means a lot, and it also motivates me to make more such videos. Also check out my YouTube channel, where we have more such videos on storyboards, WPF, and newer UI frameworks. So till then, bye bye.